Hey everyone, welcome to the Chrysalis. This is the September 18th edition of the Chrysalis, and this one is devoted to opening the doors to your soul's emergence, bringing it out there, being authentic. And I'm glad that you're joining us, and thank you for tuning in. And for those of you watching this on YouTube, if you subscribe to this channel, you can get updates and you know every time that I post a video. Please like this, and if you find what I give to you valuable, I ask that there is a link to my PayPal that you can donate there if you are inclined. Thank you so much. Let's get started. Hello, Miss Lauren. Glad to have you join me. Okay. So, as I stated earlier, it's 18th of September. And I'm going ahead and muting everybody. It's the 18th of September. It is 5 days before the equinox. And if you notice, based on my last few editions of the Chrysalis, there is a flow going on here. We are moving into deeper and deeper levels of truths being revealed at all levels. Personally, we are finding things that we didn't know were there before. We are being able to see them and uncover them. Those of us that are doing our inner activism and working to release all of this stuff. And those of you who may not be engaged actively in this inner cleansing or healing and releases are still seeing things happen and come up that kind of are catching you by surprise. You're like, wait a minute, where did this come from? And having to deal with it. That's just the way it is. It has to be. We can't function in this world, in the new earth that we are literally creating, that without clearing all of this low vibrational stuff out. We can't hold on to it. You know, I put up a post on my Facebook group, the Divine Interventions group, about having to let go. When do you get to the point where you realize you have to let go? If you are drowning, how long do you hold on to that bar of gold? How long does that have value for you when your life is at stake? At some point, you have to realize that you better let go or you're going to cease to be. And that's where we are now spiritually. And with our souls and our minds, our spirits, that's where we are in our process, both individually and globally on a planetary scale. That's why you see so much happening. Wow, it's crazy. You know, you look around the world and you can see, you know, the upheaval in Italy and in Ukraine. We now have new president. We got Netanyahu got defeated in yesterday's election. We have change, you know, new stuff going on in Brazil. We have Hong Kong happening. You know, that's still going. In France, the yellow vests have been protesting for 44 continuous weeks, regardless of all that Macron throws at them. They have literally been killed. There have been some deaths because of Macron's actions against these protests. Now, most of Europe doesn't know much about it because there has been a news blackout on it. But it's leaking out through the internet and through people's cameras that they're using. So this is happening. In the US, look at all of the arrests we are seeing happen. Just this weekend, or just the last couple of days, we had Ed Buck, who is a big DNC contributor, be arrested for being a sex trafficker and a drug facilitator dealer. Huge. We saw a congressman or senator from Pennsylvania arrested on some kind of charges. I won't say what because it's not really coming to me right now. It was something on the sex trafficking or drug related thing that's happening. And then, of course, we have this continuous string of storms and hurricanes coming up, flowing from Africa all the way up. And it seems like the track of them right now seems to just come up and go right off the East Coast. And as they continue over water, they do the same thing every time. Like Humberto will have the same effect, not as great a degree as Dorian had, but it will have the same energetic disturbance and churning effect that will keep pushing at us and pushing at us and knocking us out of balance, because it's pushing out and pushing out all of the low vibrational stuff. These energies coming to us when we're in a higher vibrational state, they really don't have that much impact on us. But when we're holding a lot of these dense energies, this pulsing energy swirling around and flowing out at us from these hurricanes as they travel up through the Atlantic is doing the same thing. It's causing great disruption. And we have the series of earthquakes on the West Coast, from Alaska all the way down through California. Continuous tremors. You think that's not doing the same thing? Boy, oh boy, yep. So all of this is taking place because it has to, because the 5D and higher vibrational structure of the new earth that we are creating, and I'll get to that in a minute, demands it. We have to clear all of this stuff out. We have to be aligned with that energy. If we refuse to become aligned with it, we're going to be miserable peeps, because the earth is moving on. We're going to be like those people holding on to the gold bar. How miserable can you get before you surrender? That's what it's coming to. So when I talk about the new earth that we're creating, there was really a very, in my, sometimes I'm kind of about Facebook memories, and every once in a while I find a gem that got buried back, somewhere in the years. So today was one. It was an article from Anelia Benz, who really has got quite of a remarkable story in itself. And I have to tell you that in the years that I have known of her and read some of her things and followed some of what she was doing, I've been kind of on the fence about her because of the story she tells about who she is, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not so sure I buy into all of that, but she does have a really good handle on a lot of stuff that's going on. And the article that I uncovered today was from 2014. And in it, she talked about in 2011, there was the great shift came, and it was decision time. It was a time when the human race says, okay, we've got to change. There's something that's got to give. But we had a lot of choices. When she first was looking at this and reading the human energies and energy fields, it was all about a choice between stay in dense 3D energies and function, or move up into a place where it was all love. Move from the negative into the totally positive, all love. And at that point, it looked like, you know, that was where we were going. And there were also choices about how that could be done. You know, the Earth's choice would have been to make it a more slow, less painful, organic kind of a process. But what she found out was humanity was basically saying, no, this has to happen now. We are done with this. This has to go and move up. So we accelerated the process by our choices, by our soul choices and our higher self choices. You didn't know that your soul did that, did you? Now we can tell, you know, 8 years later, we can see where that process has taken us. We have just been going boom, 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 one after another, to the point where we're just like saying, all right, whatever, I surrender. That's what we have to do. But she said then she noticed that there was not just two choices, but she saw a third choice come in. It wasn't dark versus light. There was also, you know, that to get rid of the shadow, but there was also then this third choice that she saw forming, which was that it was all one, to have both in one. And that's the choice that we made. That's what's coming. There are still people who believe that it's all about the light and the good stuff and only the good stuff. And we're going to leave the shadow and the dark behind because they can't, you know, they aren't the same. They don't exist at the same time. And that's true no matter how we organize things. And it was like, okay, we're going to leave the dark behind. But the human soul said, no, we want it to be one. Because we come in here for an experience. And part of that experience that we come in for has to do with contrasts. So we are going now with this one duality, but it is at a higher plane of existence. This is where the Christed consciousness comes in, that you hear me talk about a lot, and you're going to hear me talk about a lot more. But the Christed consciousness can see both sides, right? You have a coin. A coin has two sides, right? My phone has two sides. One light, one dark. And we don't have to, as long as we don't pass judgment, we come into where, you know, we are discerning things. We are discerning a resonance with things so that we can experience these opposites without passing judgment. You know, we can experience the shadow side of something, recognize it for what it is, appreciate the creative energies, right, of the one true God, divine source of all it is, whatever you want to call that creative underpinning and light and governing energy of the universe, that we can see the creative energies there, just like we can see the wonderful creative energies of the positive light-filled stuff. But the trick is that we don't judge them. We don't come into saying that's bad, or that's good, or you're bad because you're engaging in this, or, oh, I'm better than you because I don't do that. That's gone in this scenario that we are creating. We didn't want to get rid of the bad stuff. We didn't want to be in a place where we were sitting around a campfire singing kumbaya to each other all the time. Because frankly, I think our souls decided that that would be pretty blasted boring. There are only some, when you don't have contrast and you don't have challenges, then it gets pretty vanilla, And so I think our souls opted for experiencing those challenges. There's a lot of, I don't know, how do you feel whenever you have faced something really tough on you and in your life and you move through it? How do you feel? Whoa, I did it. I made it. You have to have that. All right. But you don't have to judge it as bad when you went through it. You have to say, this doesn't resonate with me very well. So what do I need to get back into a good resonance? Okay. That's the place that the Christ consciousness is taking us, is into a place where we can see it from that perspective, instead of all of the making it divisive. We make it inclusive, because that is divine love, and the Christ consciousness love is inclusive. Love covers everything, even the shadow. All right, the shadow, is included in divine love, because it's just an aspect of the light. If there isn't light, there's shadow. Where light is, shadow can't be. So that's where we're going. So by this time, you're sitting there saying, well, what the heck does any of this have to do with uncaging our soul and freedom being an inside job? Well, hello. Our soul is running the show. Now, we have been letting our egos run the show. And during so many of these videos that I've done, these weekly hump day videos that we've done, the live videos, and all the work that the angels have done, we have ignited your soul. We have brought light into there to help you recognize it and recognize more clearly what is of your soul and what is of other. Whether it's ego, whether it's social pressure, cultural stuff. If it's not of your soul, you're becoming more clearly aware of that as we move forward. And we've done a lot of work with that. And we've done a lot of work to clear some of the bigger things that have been getting in your way, or helping you to see them so that you could release them. And we're in an era of, right, what is the biggest 4-letter word that we're walking through at this time? What is the key here? That key is, and I'll just use the whiteboard here. That key is truth. We'll see how well I can do this with my little trackball. Not so well. Truth. That is it. Truth, 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 truth. That is the message. That is where we're headed, is into truth. We have to align with truth, divine truth. The blueprint, the matrix, the programming, the truth of all of those things as they were created to be our truth. Okay. So we're moving into that big time. That has been the theme going forward. We have to have that. 5D and above will not allow us to be any other way. And that truth means what? All of, let's just say that probably 90% of who and what we believe ourselves to be is an ego construct. By now, most of you are familiar with that being true, all right? Our egos have decided who and what we are and how that relates to the rest of the world and everything else that we encounter in our day-to-day existence. And we have let our egos drive the bus. Well, now it's time for the ego to get out of the driver's seat, because we've been taking passengers off of that bus to the point where that bus doesn't have too many more passengers on it, and it's time for the soul to take over driving that bus. And so that's what we're going to do here today. We are going to crack open your soul. We're going to open your soul to become more prevalent. The primary discerner and decider of truth in your life, and your response, your identity, being the primary arbiter and determiner of how you respond to certain things and what you do and how you express yourself. Authenticity. We are being called over and over again to express our authentic selves. Oh, excuse me. Oh. All right, Michael, I don't know where that came from, but please remove it. It does not have access to this home, and I will not let it. All right, so just as an aside, for those of you watching me for the first time, I was getting a sneeze response, but that sneeze response wasn't a natural thing, and I can tell the difference. There was something coming in that was trying to interfere with me, that wanted my attention, and I'm not giving it my attention right now. So that being said, we are here to be our authentic self. We are here. We have a soul mission that we have come here to perform in whatever form that is. All right. You could be a truck driver and performing your soul mission in some way. Maybe that's because you're just sharing who you are and what you love doing with everybody, that you don't hold back, that you express according to what your soul is giving to you and aligned with your soul and beliefs and everything. You can be an authentic person living your soul mission and sharing your light with other people, no matter what you're doing. Some of us are in a place where we're doing it more directly than others. But it's time for us to come out of the shell, to crack open our souls, and to express our authentic self without reservation. Now, I won't say that we should just run around spouting off everything in belief, everything we, no matter what. That's not the truth, because to tell you, it's taken me a long time. It takes us time to get accustomed to the fact that we can express our inner soul truth, our authentic self, out into the world and be safe doing it. There was a time when it wasn't safe, right? Truly, it wasn't. But now it is. But there are still some things, it's generally safe. Let's put it this way. There are still some things that I don't express out into the world all the time, because there is a time for it and there's a time for holding back. That doesn't mean I'm not being authentic, because I'm not putting something else in its place just to fit whatever somebody else wants me to say or believe or do. I'm not agreeing with their stuff, but I'm not necessarily expressing mine at that time because it's not appropriate. And I know that it wouldn't be an effective or beneficial use of my energies and time. There is a difference, like I just said, between being authentic and saying your stuff, holding back, not necessarily just not saying what you don't need to say. And then on the other side of that is not saying and expressing who you are and what you are because you wanted to fit in, or you were afraid of being rejected or in some way punished for expressing who you are. Ridiculed, rejected, punished, there are a number of ways that can happen. Now, a big example of that happens right now in politics between those who support Trump and those who don't. There are literally businesses that are firing people that support Trump or refusing to hire people that support Trump. Where did I just see an article, and it didn't have to do with, yeah, it did. There were cheerleaders, a group of cheerleaders who got suspended from the squad for the entire year because they took a picture with a Trump banner. Whether you believe in Trump or you're on whatever side you're in, these things are going on. So you may think twice before walking into a room full of people who don't support either the man or his policies, one or the other, and standing up and saying, you're a devoted follower. Unless, of course, you're prepared for whatever comes of that and you don't care. That's fine. Do that, But know when it serves the highest purpose. You may get up and say your mind and find out that you're not the only one that's been keeping your mouth shut. All right. And this is a situation, I'm using that as an example, not because it has anything to do with Trump. It just happens to be one of the most stark examples of that kind of behavior that is available at this time. Something that everybody can relate to. We can see it in front of us. So the other part of this, before we go into the temple and we work with this, the Archangel Uriel is going to come in and do this soul work with us. And she's the Archangel of the, she or he, whichever you want to call it, it's the Archangel aligned with the crown chakra. So before we do that, and go into the temple, and I just got myself off track here. We're talking about divisiveness, soul. Yeah. All right. If it comes to me, I will let you know, but we're not going to waste any more time trying to figure out what that was. But the Chrysalis weekly editions are to be kind of a joining together and pulling together of stuff that's been going on in our world at a lot of different levels during the week. And this call to truth, to our authenticity, is a huge part of that this week. It's been ongoing, but it's even more so when I have a card reading that's like 15 cards, messages from the angels, and a huge part of that has to be with dumping anything that doesn't agree with my soul mission and my authentic self, to releasing the throat chakra. And the throat chakra is the place where we express ourselves to the world, our creative aspects. It's also a power center, because anything that keeps us from expressing our true selves into the world is something that's suppressing our power. Because that is our power. That is our truth. Truth is our power out into the world and within. So we're here to express that, and we're here to open up to that and that expression of it. So let's go ahead and get into the temple now. And we're going to sit back and take a few deep breaths. I'm not going to do a full temple as I might normally do, but we'll have adequate protection for all of us and lack of interference. So let's take 3 deep breaths in through the nose, drawing in light through the crown chakra. Blow it out. 2. And the last one. Now imagine that light that you drew in through the crown chakra is traveling all the way down through your pranic center, your core, all the way down through all of your chakras, igniting them and heading down into the earth to connect with Gaia, down through and beyond your Earth Star chakra, down to the heart of Gaia. And we're taking your upper connection all the way up to, through your crown chakra, your soul star, your stellar gateway, all the way to divine source. And we're clearing away anything that would hinder that connection or is blocking it in any way from everybody here now present or whoever would be listening to this after the fact. For those of you coming to listen to the recording, we are in the Heartlight Temple. I invoke a lighter version of the temple this day. And all of your higher selves and guardian teams are also present, holding your space, knowing that at some point you are going to be here to receive this. I ask Archangel Michael and your band of mercy angels, your blue lightning angels, to surround this space and place a dome of light and protection around it for all of us, to be maintained and sustained throughout the remainder of this video, being released only 10 minutes after we are completed. And so it is. Sever all connections to anything, all cords and connections between us that are coming to us from outside this dome, Michael. Cut and cauterize all cords and connections and remove all entities from all of us in our locations, you and your team, and take them into the vortex of divine source. We're not doing, and remove any discarnate spirits, Michael, into the vortex of divine source, into the lights, being taken up by the Father, Mother, God. To be dealt with there. Thank you. And clear from us all ill effects of these entity presences and attachments, Michael. Remove their connections from us psychically, mentally, in any other way. They are not allowed to be here or to connect with us in any way. If they need their polarities flipped, beloved Uriel, please do so. And let's take them up into heaven. Out of here. For divine dispensation to let God sort it out. Thank you. All right, maintain this dome of protection, Michael, to shield, defend, and protect us from all that would interfere in any way and would not serve or support the goals and purposes for which I am creating this protective space right now. and remove all such things from within this circle of your protection. Thank you. And let's maintain this purity throughout, within and without. Okay, I'm not doing a fuller protective presence now, because once we get to where we're opening our souls are going to provide massive protection and cast away a lot of things from us. Okay. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do, and you don't have to open up your mic or anything else to say this out loud, is that I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up your soul. We're going to be cracking open your soul, allowing it to be fully present, surrounding you, and to attune you, not just from within, but from without, to its truth, and to help clear away from you all that is not in opposition to its truth. Some of this going forward, and I'm going to ask that it be done as gently as possible, and that if there is something that you are not ready to release, that's not going to be forced, okay? But these things, anything that is not released today will have a light shown on it that you will be needing to work with in the time ahead. Now, if you don't feel able to work with that yourself, if you want help working through this, even figuring out what it is, you may not even know what it is, but you know there's something coming up to you that's really got you going. If you want help with that, contact me. My email will be in the description section under the video, and we can set up some time to do that. In the meantime, if you are ready to receive this blessing of the angels and all that I am calling in to your benefit today, all you have to do is say yes. Now, if you decide that you don't want to do this, you are certainly welcome to remain here and watch the proceedings. You just won't receive any of it. You may come back later and say yes and decide to receive it. That is up to you. So let's go ahead and get going. I call now upon the angels, archangels, and ascended masters, beloved Jesus, Mother Mary, Holy Spirit, higher selves, to come surround us now in this temple and offer your supports for all of us assembled here, our guardians, our guides, and higher selves, to offer your support in any way necessary as we move through this soul opening. Thank you. Beloved Archangel Uriel, please come now. Oh yeah, there she is. Whoa. If your crown chakra is lighting up, that's Uriel. Thank you, beloved one, for your presence here. What is our first step today? Are you the first thing on? Okay. All right, we're just going to let Uriel do, she knows what's going on. She kind of initiated this. So here we go. Just open yourself to receive whatever Uriel is doing, if you have agreed to do so, and sit back and observe. And so it is. Thank you, Uriel. And I'm receiving 2 here today, so I will give you whatever feedback I can as it's going on that may apply to any of you. I actually have seen my soul in an exercise that I did years ago. It's quite an amazing thing. What I'm getting the sense of is that our souls, they're not just expanding out and cracking open from within. What they're doing is they're coming out right now up through the top of our heads and out to the top of our matrix, our light body envelope, and spreading out from there and spreading a tube of light around us. You may feel that pulsing. If you practice healing of any kind and you have felt that pulsing energy when you are sending energy to somebody, that's soul pulse. Our souls have their own pulse, just like our hearts. And just a reminder that our souls are pure love. So all the work they're doing is just what divine love does. It restores truth. What's in love from others. Sees the truth in others. Sets aside judgments. This circle of soul surrounding us is working outside of us, and our soul is also working in. So it's a two-pronged thing, from within and from without, coming together, surrounding us. Clearing the things of ego and our false identity that are ready to be released, just done, burned away, dissolved. As if they had never existed. And there's also a lot of garbage here in our energy fields that isn't ours to begin with, that was embedded here from other sources, other people, electronics, cultural stuff, just all kinds of things. So that also is being cleared away. The things that don't belong to us in the first place are usually the easiest to clear away and the first to go. And in all our names, I revoke any ownership that may have, or any claim upon these things. And so it is. And also in all of our names, I revoke the authority of anything in our systems that our soul is working to release now. These things have no authority over us, and we give them none. At all levels, dimensions, and planes of existence and causation throughout our timelines. And so it is. Each one of us is sovereign on our own domain and is given by divine right. And as light workers and beings of light, we are given the authority over these things. They do not have authority over us unless we give it to them or allow it. In all of our names, I'm refusing us to allow it now. And so it is. in our higher mind and our spirit and our soul are the things that have the authority here. Our lower ego mind does not. So we are also taking some of the authority away from our ego mind as well, that it has usurped. Oh, okay, I'm getting the message. This is part of what's happening with Uriel and our souls right now, is we are detaching from ego authority. Yes, we are detaching from ego authority, disallowing that authority. Doesn't mean our egos are dying or going away or any of that stuff. It means that for a lot of the things that our ego does or brings to us, they will now be acting in an advisory capacity and not as the boss of us, which we have traditionally allowed them to be because we didn't know any better. So we are detaching and releasing from and releasing our ego's authority over us. That's huge, people. You have no idea how big that is. What a gift you're receiving. There is more to this that can be done individually, but this is a big first step in a group setting. Mm. Fear is what's being released now. Our egos have said, you should be afraid of this, and we have allowed ourselves to be. So we are detaching from ego authority, but we already have these things that we've connected to and we've adopted. So in all of our names, I cancel our ownership of these things and our attachment to them, and give them no authority in our domains or over us. So be it, and so it is. Wow, there's some big stuff in there, peeps. Some of you may have felt some really big resistance and then a big release. Michael, if any of us have any entities promoting these fears or feeding from them, remove them from us in totality, or entity programming. Yep. Perpetuating these fears. Because as we have spoken about many times, negative emotional energy, which is called loosh, is what these negative forces feed off of. And they produce it so they can feed off of it. Just like we need light, they need this negative energy to support and sustain them. And we're turning off the spigots. If you imagine a big spigot first full of this dark, dense fear energy and dark emotional energy, just turn the spigot off. Say, no, we're not doing that anymore. And we're turning also the tributaries that fill the tank. We're turning those off. We're saying, nope. Some of us are less willing to let go of these things than others. Your soul is working with you to help you do so. And so is Uriel. Working in your subconscious mind. Releasing subconscious programming, supporting ego, non-serving ego activity. Wow, a lot of work being done. I'm feeling some kind of an ache or a pain in the left knee down through the shin. Some work in the heart chakra, the back of the heart chakra, past wounds. Their throat chakra, big time. Hello?
Hello?
I'll put you on mute, my dear. Just sit back and let the angels catch you up. We're opening to soul. Our souls are now within us and surrounding us. And the angels will catch you up on this. Oh yeah, there it is. See, solar plexus. Somebody's solar plexus, including mine, getting hit big time. We are releasing our attachment and dependence on ego authority. We're saying our ego no longer has this authority, and we're taking back our own power. We're restoring ego to an advisory role. And in that, Uriel, please make sure that our egos are not allowed to take back their authority. Thank you. When I say that we are removing and releasing our ego authority, this means that from this point forward, is that you will become aware of what the ego is telling you. You will know what the message is, whether there's fear there, whether there's something else going on that the ego is telling you. And you get the choice as to whether you're going to allow the ego recommendation to fly, or if you're going to just say, oh, I see you, but no, we don't need to do that this time. I'm good with that, you know, for you to just, or say, no, we don't need to react this way, and then you process it to find out what's going on when you get the time to do that. So there is going to be a conscious choice made going forward with this. Okay, so we're down to the solar plexus and we're clearing out all of this stuff the ego is using to control us. And we are releasing that authority. We are saying, no, you no longer have that authority. And these things no longer control me. Say that in your head or out loud. If you so desire, it would be helpful. Okay, now we're going down further. And again, Michael, please clear from us, everyone in the temple, everything that doesn't belong as part of the session, and everything that is that the soul is calling to be released, and any entities that may be part of this. Thank you. And I intend that we are all totally infused with the power of the Christed light and divine love. That any resistance is coming about is ours. All right, heading down into the sacral chakra now. The sacral chakra is called the seat of the soul because this is where our creative power exists, where our guidance system exists. When we say have a gut feeling, that's where the true gut feeling exists. Now, if you're getting it in your upper stomach, that's ego. That's not really gut feeling. But if you're getting it in your lower gut, if you're feeling something that resonates in your lower gut, that's your sacral chakra. And that's when you need to pay more attention to if you're not directly connected. If you're used to intuiting through your gut, then that's where you need to be paying attention. But the sacral chakra is the seat of soul and creativity, our true identity and our true self, our soul mission, and is there to support us. And there is a lot of wounding in the sacral chakra. There always is because of this. It's also the place where our psychic abilities are programmed. So you may be feeling a lot of activity in the third eye at this time. This glasses hurt my nose. You're letting your sacral chakra know that it is safe to express your truth and your soul mission and your creative abilities and whatever they may be, to express your gifts in whatever way you were given to express them. It is safe, and you are being called on to do so. Your soul wishes you to do so. That's what it's here for. Getting an image of your soul hanging around, tapping its foot. Okay. All right. So when are we going to do this? You ready? When are we going to do this? It's time. Let's go. When are we going to do this? Let go. Now is that time. You're getting the tapping foot. Then we're done with the tapping foot thing. The soul has said, okay, now it's time. We need to do this. So be prepared. If you haven't done much with your psychic abilities or talents, where you have some that maybe seem like they're latent or aren't there, or you don't even know what they are, just be prepared because you're opening up to use things, and your teams will make sure that you're guided in the right steps in order to do that. Each of us has a clair ability that is the prominent one for each of us. And that'll be the one that you really get schooled in the most as others kind of chime in. Ooh, programs and templates being restored and eliminated, energized, and informing the rest of your matrix. Awesome. We're being brought into alignment with our soul mission. Again, and the talents and abilities that are part of that mission. If anyone would like to set up a session with me to have a soul mission session, to find out what it is that your soul mission is calling you to do, what it is, and the talents and things that you would like to do, let me know. Or we can do a divine plan session, which would basically give us that more. Wow. A lot of subconscious resistance to these gifts and their expression and opening up to them. Remember, our minds have been the king of the heap for a long time, and opening up to let something else have any kind of control or input is going to come up against a lot of resistance. So know that there's no harm being done here, and just open up to receive this healing and repatterning that's going on, to allow these gifts and your use of them to be integrated fully into your systems and to be supported fully. So it is. All right, everybody take in a couple of deep breaths and blow them out, just to anchor everything that we've already done, to center into our soul, reconnect a little bit with the real world. We're not done, but it was time to change directions a little bit. And our souls are still surrounding us in a cylinder. And if you want the experience of being able to see your soul, we can do that in a meditative experience as well. If that's something that you would like to do, I can bring you into that. It really is quite amazing. So, all right. So where are we, beloved angels? Uriel, are you still up? Somebody else is coming in. All right. Who's coming in? Oh, higher self. No wonder I was looking in the wrong direction, beeps. All right, our higher self is coming in. Oof. Wow. our higher self is doing some repatterning, integration work. To help us adapt to this new state of being, or improved or upgraded state of being. Upgraded, yes. Clearing away all that has been blocking connection with higher self or divine source or divine guidance, divine communication. Again, like I just said about the subconscious, the mind doesn't want anything else to come in that's going to give information or take control. The mind wants to be right there at the top. I'm the head boss. Well, we just have taken that away. We've said, no, that's not happening anymore. So the mind has its own territory and the subconscious has its own territory, autonomic programming, taking care of our bodies. But that is not supposed to rule the rest of our being. And so that's what we have said, nope, we're not going to let you do anymore. And so our higher self is coming in and helping to retool us, to where we need to be in full integration and expression of our souls. To express our souls out into the world and to understand what it is our souls are telling us. All right, there's something you can feel. You probably have some resistance down in your root chakra. That's where we're working now, because there's a lot of our root chakra is connected to the past history, past lives, ancestors. Our root chakra is connected to all of that. And so there is a lot coming into us through the root chakra that is totally in opposition to what's being done now, because, the old, that's the way it's always been done. We don't operate like this. Well, they all operated in the 3D world. Face it. We were in a 3D world, until about 15, 20 years ago, until things started really changing in a big way. Even, up to, well, more like it started changing, but, we only entered into real 5D in the last few years. That's when this all really came to be. So the way it's always been done no longer counts. It doesn't count for anything, will get us nowhere. So that's what our higher selves are trying to do right now, is to bring us, upgrade us into a state of being that is aligned with what we need now and the way we need to operate now, and detach us from that resistance. Beloved Angel Raziel, please come now and sever from us all ancestral and past life timelines that no longer serve our sole purpose of evolution moving forward, and support it. Close and seal all breaches between these timelines and ours. Past, present, future on our own timelines. At all levels, dimensions, and planes of existence and causation. And please take all of these timelines that have now been released from us and remove them from our oversouls, along with everything that they brought to our oversouls that no longer serves our soul evolution. I think many of you will find that clarifies things for you a lot, because these past lives and ancestral timelines are holding stuff You know, we've been there, done that. You know, we don't need to go through that again. And all of these things is repositories for stuff that we've already been through, passed through, graduated from, but mostly entity kind of forces reconnect us to that stuff and energize it and bring it back here and make it an issue again that we've got to go through. We don't need to do that anymore. So, welcome, James. So that's where we are with that. So we are being cleared of all of these things. It's being cleared out of our oversoul. No more any of that stuff to be available from these other timelines to interfere with us or bring us more dense stuff, and nothing for our ego minds to connect to in those places, because our ego minds have gotten really good at attaching to those things when it wants to make a point for us and using them as databases. All right. So now let's clear all the stuff that's come to us from these other timelines and lifetimes, beloved angels. It no longer serves our soul evolution, and all that that's created in us that doesn't serve us and is hindering our soul's ability to operate fully out in the world for us now. All right, if you haven't already, please take a deep breath in through your nose, pulling the light all the way down through your crown chakra, down through your root chakra, out to the earth. Just pull that in. Let it go all the way out. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Feel it work through. All right, let it out. Blowing all that stuff away. All right, and please remove, angels, all programming coming to us from these other timelines and lifetimes that have been adopted into our ego matrix that didn't serve us in the first place and no longer does. We need to be just released of this. Maybe make them inert and impotent, no longer able to hold a charge or to have any impact. Along with all the triggers involved. And so it is. Thank you. All right. Now, higher self. Continue. I'm sorry. All right. Program out here. All right. Let's clear this program. Is this more than one person has this? Does everybody have this? No. All right. This is one of those fear hubs. Yeah, let's get rid of this. There is a device, and you might feel it being eliminated for you now, and it's kind of like, feels almost like a golf ball kind of energy, dense energy, just behind your right ear, you know, around your jaw, maybe jaw to ear, just kind of runs behind. Anyway, that is it's a fear hub. If you think of a spherical USB hub, you know, with all the inputs in it, that's kind of what it is. And what that is that entities and other sources come in and they basically plug into that and they feed fear garbage into us, which then propagates as negative emotional loose energy, in which they feed off of. And they use that same fear hub to pull that energy out. So it's a two-way street. So we're removing that now. Michael and your team, please, and Jamira, let's unmanifest this in totality and all in whom this still is present. Remove it in totality throughout eternity. All perpetuation systems are removed as well, obliterated, deactivated, dissolved. And all the fear that is being fed to us through these is removed and cleared 100%. And all the entities that were connecting to us through this hub are removed into the vortex of divine source, Michael, and totally disconnected from us throughout eternity. Never again. In all levels, dimensions, and planes of existence and causality. So be it and so it is. I intend that these devices are totally deconstructed, unmanifest, along with all the instructions that cause them to be, throughout the entirety of the universe, at all levels, dimensions, and planes of existence and causation, at all times, past, present, and future, on our timelines throughout eternity. And so it is. You shall never exist again. They're removed from our templates and blueprints. And I also ask that we be reconstructed or put together again in all of these places so that these hubs will never again be accepted into our reality. Let's just be written out of our holograms, please, from this point forward. Thank you. Okay, Uriel. Yeah, let's clear all this fear, Michael, that came to us through this hub and everything it's creating. Remove all entities that remain attached to us and all connections to past history. Let's clear these things from our past history as well. And timeline programming. Thank you. And oversoul, if the pattern for that was embedded in our oversoul, it goes to. Let's get it out of here. We are moving on up, baby. We don't have time for this, and we can't deal with these things anymore. Just not happening. Get it out of here. Thank you. Okay, Uriel. And higher self, are you done? Higher self, please. Higher self making a really strong heart connection to us through the soul link. In all our names, I revoke permission for anything offering resistance to this. Michael, remove any entities of any kind, any programming that's interfering with this from whoever is affected by it, and so it is. And anybody that just came in, angels, please catch them up so that we're all on the same page. I'm not going to remove the discarnate spirits again. They're not allowed in this, through this dome. They are not allowed within the circle of this protection. Take them into the light. And Raziel several timelines. Remove them from us. Thank you. And clear us, Michael, in the physical, etheric, and causal planes, please. Please purify our causal planes of anything that is of entity origin, intent, desire, purpose, and service to such. And replace all such things with light and truth and love. Thank you. Okay, higher self, are we complete with you now? No. All right, let's go. Whoa. I intend that anything resisting the higher self's work has no authority in our domains or over us and is cast out from us now in the name of Jesus. And in the name and by the power of the third heaven, get out. And so it is. And that these things are cast out from our oversouls and our timelines. So it is. Uriel, please remove from our central channels everything trying to usurp the authority of our higher selves. And send them into the lights to be dealt with according to divine will, and so it is. Thank you. As always, everything I say might not apply to all of you as I'm going through this. But when I'm in this circle with all of you that are here now, or ever will be, I'm connected to every one of you, here or not. And so there are things that are going on that may not be happening with you, but are happening with others. So just bear with me. You are still receiving what you are meant to receive. All right, what is this? Is this something we need to clear or remove? All right. And again, anyone who has just joined, angels, please make sure that these people are caught up to the present with everything that has been done so that they can receive what is next to come. All right, higher self, are you complete for each one of us? Thank you. Ariel, okay. All right, beloved Ariel. Woo. Clearing that central channel, helping us to be anchored and centered on that spindle, the Gaia Divine Source spindle. Gaia is in charge of, not Gaia, Uriel is in charge as an angel of what we call the angel of nature. But beyond that, that's a general term. But that means that she is in charge of the natural world and the physicality of it, right? The physical presence of it, and maintaining that for everything in that world. So the changes that we have undergone today need to be anchored into our physical beings and as part of our presence in the world. So that's what she's doing now. Thank you, Ariel. All right, what's next? Are we complete? Uriel, we're complete with this process. I speak now to each of our souls. Are we good? We ready? All right, our souls are no longer wrapped around us. They are now contained within our being once more. But you may feel a certain amount of soul expansion. And one of the things that I experienced this last week had to do with that soul expansion. It is another one of the messages, about how it was time. And we talk about oneness. And one of my running jokes is that anybody who's been an empath and somebody says oneness, it kind of gives you the shivers. It's like, oh God, no, too much oneness, too much. And oneness is more a matter of being whole than it is about being one with everything else. But our souls are moving into a place of expansion where my soul is kind of reaching out to explore and expand into my time-space boundaries for all aspects of my soul, not just the me that's here now, but also parallel versions of me and my soul that are out there and are the timelines. And expanding into my timeline. So I've been getting this thing where I've been getting advance notice of negative energies and entity work coming at me. My soul is reaching out, kind of saying, hello, we want to clear this before it gets here. And intrudes upon us. Now, I have to be in a state of open awareness for that to happen. If I'm in the middle of canning tomatoes or vacuuming the floor, reading a book or whatever, I'm not necessarily going to, or a healing session, I'm not necessarily going to know that. But when I am quiet and not engaged in other things, my soul then has the opportunity to update me that way. So I'm giving you this heads up. I'm never guided to tell you anything that isn't going to be of value for you as a result of the things that we're doing here. And this is one of them. So if you feel some kind of energy that you can't put your finger on, it's negative energy, and you're like, where is this? What's going on with that? This may be part of what it is. And for me, we all have our timelines, our main timelines, past, present, future. but then we have a temporary, you know, the short range timeline, like, you know, 2-3 months in the future, 2-3 months in the past, that kind of travels along with us as reference points as we move forward. And so this is where I'm getting this from. When it's something coming to me, I'm kind of feeling this thing out here and investigating, all right, what is that? Now that I understand that that is talking to me about my future timeline, then I can best interpret it a little bit better. So, all right. Are we complete now, beloved team? All right, please clear, Michael, please clear everybody's energy fields of all the debris of this session. Let's clear it out, all the energetic debris. Remove any remaining entity attachments or any parasitic connections that may still be present. Disconnect us from the 3D timeline. All right. For those of you who were there when we did this, we all had or have now 2 timelines that we're operating in, or were for some of us. One is 3D and one is 5D, and they're running parallel. For those of us that were in the session that I did this for, we got rid of, Raziel cleared from us and removed the 3D timeline because we've moved fully over into this one. We don't need that one anymore. Again, it's creating issues. But the master 3D timeline, and there are people who are going to remain in that one, still exists, and it is still low vibrational, and it is still carrying a lot of garbage in it. And some of you may have noticed that you felt the detachment taking place when I asked for you to be detached from the 3D timeline. So what's connecting us to that timeline? Well, things like social media and all of the lower vibration energies that are in there. If you're sensitive to that, you will feel the lower vibrational energy and the pull on that. One of the major energies of Facebook coming through is lack. It's massive lack energy embedded in the Facebook matrix and collectives. There is also, you know, and a lot of fear energy from different sources, a lot of which also has to do with fear of rejection, right? How much of that fear is expressed in the things that we desire to say, or our attention that we pay to the likes that we're getting, or the angries, or the lack of attention at all when we post things. Big energies in there. Those are all 3D low vibrational energies. So they're coming to us through those things. Same thing with YouTube and Twitter, any other social media. They're coming to us through other media, TV, movies, all things that are embedded in and a product of 3D thinking and methods. Are all going to carry that energy. So, and when we get connected to that massive master 3D timeline, we're funneling that garbage to us. So anytime you can think of it, ask your angels. Michael can do this easily to disconnect you from 3D, to cut and cauterize your connections to the 3D timeline. And you will notice that it makes a difference. So Michael, let's do that for everybody here now. Thank you. And let's clear from them everything that at this time is causing those attachments or promoting them in any way. Thank you. Charmian, beloved angel of harmony, come in now to each one of us and restore harmony to each one of our systems, to the entirety of our systems, and all planes of existence. Restore harmony and clear from us all that remains in discord. Fully in support of the work that has been done here today to support integration in the gentlest possible way. And Shekinah, come and bring us into unity throughout our systems, all in support of the soul opening and authentic expression. And so it is. Thank you. And again, for those that may not have been here at the beginning, what we did here today, while it was really, it was intense and there was a lot going on, and this was a general. Individually, there is more that could be done and will be coming up to be done. And if you want to explore that and help to clear that stuff out and make your travel through this adjustment time and clearing and letting go and moving into your authentic self a little bit easier, and you want help with that, don't hesitate to contact me and we can set up a session and go through it. So, having said that, I thank you all for coming to see me today. Thank you very much. I love you all. And blessings to you all until next time. See ya.